Welcome back to Brews and Reviews podcast. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is our show 24 after 24, where we take a look back at the iconic show 24, because this year is 24 years since it first aired. So what we do, if you haven't listened before, is we watch 3 episodes. Try to remember what happened in the 3 of them, give a little bit of a recap, and just a little bit of commentary on what we thought of it.
Yeah, we try to basically retell the story, I guess. Everyone's probably watched this, listen to it. Listening to a podcast, but watch the actual show.
Hopefully,
if not, watch along with us.
You don't really need to watch it because the amount of detail we've been going into.
We have been going into a lot of detail. It's hard to not go into detail though.
I think the way that it's structured, where it's constantly going between scenes and then they're overlapping and characters are joining up from different storylines, it makes it hard to keep it concise. There's too much going on in every episode. But again, we're going to try keep it a little bit more concise this week.
Surely we'll just get better as time goes on.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Before we start, what we do is we have a look at our brews for the week. So this week I've gone for a Mismatch Brewing Co. Session Ale. This is not one I've had. Last 2 weeks I've had beers that I've already tried before.
I reckon I've had that one.
Do you remember if it was any good?
I enjoy a session ale. I say that I don't really drink beer, but on the way home, I think last week, I was like, one of my favourite beers is like West End.
No, it's not.
I love a West End. Just the dirty river water.
I didn't know that about you. So this is a South Australian beer from Hay Valley. Hay Valley.
Hay Valley.
Where is that?
No, I swear it's down south. I feel like it's down south, like down near...
You're not thinking Hayborough?
I'm thinking Hayborough. Yeah, fucking got me.
Nah, I don't know where this is. I'm going to have to look it up. Maybe we'll... I'm saying a lot in these episodes that we're going to add like little things. I don't know if I can actually edit these things in, but if I can, I'm going to put a map maybe up there
of white background
of where Hayborough is. Bing!
Right there.
And what have you got this week?
So I've I've chosen a Little Bang Brewery Sun Bear Hazy Pale Ale, which again is another South Australian beer.
Is that second week in a row that you've gone pales?
Yeah.
And you said last week you didn't really like pales?
Yeah. But you know how I said last week I chose last week's drink because of the way it looked?
Yeah. Same again.
Take a note. There's a bear on here and it's colourful.
I feel like all my labels... last week it was like a bright green, but mine are fairly basic. You're bringing in the fancy stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm going to run out. So there's a lot of craft beer out there, isn't there? But anyway, this one is from Stepney. So just outside the CBD.
Yep. God, it's cracking. Oh, that came through really well on my headphones from yours.
Oh, did it? Yeah. Good. What about this?
Too much. That's nice.
This is nice too.
I'm really thirsty as well, so it's going to probably throw my opinion of this in favour.
Yeah, a session ale's good.
True.
I like a session ale.
Yeah, they're an easy drink, I think, so that you can drink a lot during a session.
Yeah, it's the whole point of a session ale.
I'm going to go slightly less than last week's Hazy Pale. So I'm going to have to, just so that it's less than the Hazy Pale, which I enjoyed more, going to have to say 7.5.
Yeah, I'm still drinking another Hazy, so it's pretty similar. Very drinkable though. So it's a good 7.5, 8 still. I think I gave an 8 last week.
Now, before we get into it, was there anything to follow up from last week? I can't remember if we left anything where we weren't sure about and we needed to look things up like we did in the first week. I think it was pretty straightforward last week.
Oh, we struggled with George Mason for the whole show, didn't we? Who are we going to struggle with this week, you reckon?
I already know who I don't know. I'm hoping you'll bust out his name for me because I can't remember what it is.
Go on, shoot.
No, we'll get to it.
All right. We'll wait. Hang tight, gang.
All right. So first up this week, the 3 episodes we're going to be doing are episodes 5, 6, and 7. So we'll start with episode 5. Yes.
I'll just being stupid. Sorry.
We're going to do something a bit different this week. Instead of going beat for beat in the way that the show's running, we're going to follow each storyline and go through it that way and see if that feels a bit better, because I feel like we're just jumping between things too much.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and recap each of the storylines for the episode.
It might get a little bit choppy because they do intertwine with each other, but
yeah,
I mean, hopefully we can remember enough that we can bring the other character in, I guess.
It's certainly picking up though. I like that. There's one that's a little bit slower, but it was a good 3 episodes to sit through.
I mean, everyone knows with a TV show, you got to have that stupid episode where this fuck all happens.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's usually early in the second half of the season.
Oh, I have a feeling,
but we're early on now still.
No, I think I looked. I think this is close to a mid-season break or something. I think I was looking at the dates.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
I have a feeling one was
the
December,
end of the year, yeah.
And then it wasn't until like January, a few weeks later, they released the next one.
Yeah. Before we get started, after last episode, I thought that we were done with Shaky Cam. It comes back with a vengeance in this one, and it is distracting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm looking for it now, but whenever I see it, and again, it's okay if they're doing a chase scene or something, but they've used it again when it's just 2 people talking and the camera's moving all over the place.
Can I just segue? Sorry for our shaky cam for the last 2 episodes, by the way. We've fixed that problem, and I can bang the desk without it going.
We're slowly improving our setup here, so all the cables are gone from the table now. We'll see what happens in it. Maybe we'll get some
beers, pads, and
something else besides a white background.
Yeah,
one day.
Yeah, we'll take it one step at a time.
Yeah, and maybe there's some sponsors for
plenty of room for sponsors
in the corner.
Yeah,
some greenery.
Yeah,
some lights. See how we go.
I'm keen.
All right, so episode 5. We like I said, we're not going to go in the exact order, but we'll start with Jack, where he left off at the end of last episode.
Yeah,
where he was chasing after the suspect.
Do you know the suspect's name?
That is the one that I don't know the name of.
Pentecoff.
Oh, it is Pentecoff.
Yep.
Of course it is. I think I've even... That was terrible. I think I've even written it down as well. Anyway, so he's been picked up by the cops, and Jack's following him back to the police station. He wants to get in front of him. He wants to ask him some questions.
He was running red lights and everything, chasing this cop car.
Yeah. He doesn't give a shit about the rules.
It's Jack Bauer. He makes the rules. He's like the Chuck Norris of... what do you call it? 24.
Yeah. So Jack gets to the police station and goes to follow the Pentecoff into the interrogation room, but who gets there before him?
Old George Mason.
It's Mason, his arch nemesis.
Yeah, I was all excited to. I mean, still can't remember it. All right, like what happened, even though I've seen it. And I was like, yes, here we go. We're going to see an interrogation, and then bang, he walks in. It's like, far out. You can't be serious. This, not going to lie though. They must all this happens within like 10 minutes of CTU. The whole entire program so far.
Everything is like real close together. Yeah. Like whenever they're going
LA
from
close
place to place.
Because they're in LA, aren't they?
Yeah, I feel like it is. But LA would also have like a ton of traffic. I mean, this is in the middle of the night still, so that's why.
True.
But we're getting close to daybreak.
We are going to get to daytime.
Jack gets to the cop shop, but Mason's there first, and they have it out, and essentially Mason pulls rank and says, "Nah, you got to stay here. I'm going to go talk to him."
This one.
But he's not gone long before he comes back and says he only is going to talk to Jack. So Jack's like, "You goddamn right."
Because obviously Mason doesn't know Jack's got a alternative motive here.
Yes.
Yeah, so he
doesn't know anything about the daughter.
Yeah, and how Pentecoff knows about the daughter.
Mm. So
Jack's dying to get in there.
Jack goes in and pretty much straight away attacks Pentecoff.
Just does it just straight into a like throat grab, and then because he was on the phone to Terry just before, wasn't he? Because he got sent to a little office. He got sent to timeout.
Yep.
And then we saw him writing something down on the table, which we find out ends up being his cell phone number. We call it a mobile here in Australia, but we'll call it a cell phone just for fun. And in that altercation, he's just like shoved it in his throat.
He's put a piece of paper in Pentecoff's mouth It's got his phone number on it, and straight away...
Yeah, because he tells him what's going to happen because, he sits there and then Mason and everyone's listening and they're like, so what did he say? Because he starts whispering. And, anyway, there's an
Pentecoff
altercation.
jumps up and tells them to get him out. He's crazy. So Jack gets taken out, gets a little slap on the wrist by the cops. They're trying to say, don't do the wrong thing. We want to get this guy. He's killed one of our cops.
Yeah.
So Pentecoff demands his phone call. So he gets taken out and then gets allowed to do his phone call. And who does he call?
Jack
Bauer. Calls the number on the paper.
Yeah.
So he calls Jack, and they essentially come up with a plan to get him out so that he can get to his daughter, because he's the only way that Jack's going to see his daughter again. So what happens then?
He gets back in.
He does.
Yeah, so that's right. So he's like, obviously stuff happens in between this, so we're just doing the Jack story. But when Jack goes to get back in, he's walking back in, and a random cop walks in, and he's like, "Oh, I've got the key card," and he's like, "I want to play this straight though. He killed a cop, and all this." And so anyway, he's like, "If you're gonna go in, I'm going in with you." And then lo and behold, they go in there, and Jack causes another scene like instantly. So I don't know. He must did they say something on the phone? They must have said something on the phone, like,
yeah,
because I suppose he was like, "Get me out of here." So Jack had to think on his feet, and like Jack always has a plan by the looks of it. He just comes up with plans like bang. And yeah, what does he
starts not only does he attack the suspect, he then starts to attack the cop as well.
Yeah.
He says, "Where were you when your partner was being shot?"
That's right, because he was like, "That was my partner," and he's like, "Where were you when your partner got shot?" And then that fired him up. So they're like tackled, and somehow the key card got loose.
Yeah.
And into Pentecoff's hand.
That was his plan. He wanted to create a scuffle, pocket the swipe card.
So this Pentecoff, he's killed a cop.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's watching him? Why is he not handcuffed and like gagged and, chained to the table like they do in the movies?
This is real life.
And then
mistakes happen.
Just, casually walks out. Jack's just probably waiting at the door going, "Yeah, come on, let's go."
So they escape from the police station, and
Pentecoff told Jack, that's right, he has to get out because
he's waiting for a phone call.
And he's like, "Where? Back where you found me." And I was like, "Okay." And then, so in the meantime, Jack's called Nina as well.
That's right.
From CTU going, "Nina, I need you to put a trace on a phone." And then she's like, "We don't have a warrant." And he's just flat out, "Forget about the warrant. I need this trace set up." So, yeah. So
they head back to where they found Pentecoff. There's a payphone on the street. So Jack's like, "Yep, they're going to call on that any second now." Start to hear a phone ringing. Yeah. Go to pick up the phone. Not the payphone. He's like, "Yeah, phone's ringing." I was like, "That's clearly like a mobile phone, a cell phone." It's like the ring is just all wrong. Maybe they're just still too new back then. People just don't know. No way there's a cell phone there. That'd be worth it. We get a good look at a few cell phones in this episode as well. There was a Nokia, there was an Ericsson. Yeah, there's I reckon it was a Nokia, it wasn't a 3210. It was pretty similar. It was the longer one? The next one up. Yeah, it was like a bit skinnier and longer. I think it was not 3315. It was I had one. One of the longer ones? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that brought back memories. So on the other end of the mobile phone was Gaines. Yes. And then, Gaines said, "I've got more work for you." And there's a set of keys behind the payphone. It will take you to a car. Yep. And there's a dead body in the back. Get rid of it. You need to get rid of it. And Jack's like, "Who's the dead body?" To Pentecoff. Pentecoff's like, "I don't know. I've just been told about it." He's like, "Who is it?" So Jack's obviously thinking it's his daughter. Yeah. So where they go? They go into the car, and then no, that's right. Do they just go straight to the car? They don't drive anywhere, do they? No, no, that's right. So he pops the boot, and he's looking in there, and he's obviously a bit relieved because it's not a female. No,
But
it's clearly a man.
So they cut everything off, but obviously didn't cut his penis off because Jack knows he's a man.
Yeah.
They even pulled his fingernails.
I think they clipped like his actual fingers because they didn't want fingerprints. So fingerprints, teeth, and his face was mangled. So they're clearly not wanting anyone to know who this guy is.
Yeah.
But that's not going to stop Jack. He's going to get that to the lab and get that checked out. But in the meantime, who organised to track Jack?
Oh, Mason. Yes.
Mason.
So obviously, that cop that lost his key card came in and then said something, and the chief guy there's like, "Thought you left."
Yeah, you checked out 5 minutes ago.
He's like, "Was he actually checking out?" I'm just going to check, so he's locked out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, I didn't. I'm staying until we find out what happens." And then he's like, "Oh shit, where's my key card?" And then did you see Mason ran off straight away?
No.
He was like, "This is on."
Yep.
He's like, "Fuck, we go." And then then they've pulled up. Some guy's sitting there on a laptop, and Mason's on the phone to obviously it must be to Division.
Yep.
Saying, like, yeah, he should have this footage by now. Like, where is it? And then a satellite's going over, so they're going to take footage from the satellite. And lo and behold, they find it. It's the grainiest video footage you've ever seen.
That's all they need.
Yeah.
They get their lock on Jack.
They track that car.
So then obviously Mason pulls up and Jack, does he give him the full story?
So Jack freaked out here. I thought I didn't think it was Mason, by the way, pulling up. By the way Jack reacted. Did you notice that?
No.
So Jack's like whipped out his gun and he's like pointing it at like, he's got, what's his name, like down on his knees or something. And I'm like...
That's right.
I was like, oh fuck, is this like not Mason, is this Gaines like turning up or something? Anyway, yeah, so it ends up being George Mason and his crew rock up.
Yep.
And then he's giving Jack like a spiel, like, you've done it now, Jack. Like, this is it for you. And then he pops the boot and he's like, well, this is to do with the
plot for
the Palmer killing.
David Palmer.
Yeah. And then he proceeds to tell him, like, he basically is just like, I'm going to have to fucking tell him now, like, what's going on.
But also, and it happens a couple of times in these episodes where the person just gets on board straight away.
Yeah.
So Mason's just like nearly instantly on side.
Yeah. And then the music changes as well. So this show's really good at casting, like, he's dodgy, but then he doesn't. And then as soon as they change the music, it's just like...
Go from suspenseful to like, oh, now they're friends. And
yeah, and I felt relaxed. I was like, fuck yeah. Because I did think, I was like, so they're chasing Jack and they don't like, they want to try and arrest him basically. And it's like, how are they going to, like, he's got a fucking another, like, 20 hours to go?
Yeah.
Like, he's got to be the main character. He can't be arrested. And that's it, mate. That's the end of the show. So I was trying to work out how he was going to get away again.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, George Mason's on board with the whole... what's the... Richard Walsh? He's like, yeah, Richard trusted me and gave me this assignment, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say that, but... Yeah, this whole Jack side quest.
So that's pretty much it for Jack's storyline.
Yeah,
in
through
this
that episode, yeah.
So the next one is the David Palmer storyline. So...
Oh, yeah. Yep.
David decides to not tell it. So
he wants to talk to Nicole.
Yes.
About the rape.
Yes.
Oh no, not the rape, but the aftermath. Keith.
That's right.
The Keith ordeal.
And is it his wife that is trying to tell him not to?
Yeah.
To not bring it up again.
So Sherry doesn't want him to.
Yeah.
She doesn't want him. Yeah. She doesn't want to bring up the past and. Yeah.
But he's adamant. No, he's got to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
And then when he actually goes to speak to her, they're having a nice father-daughter moment, and then he changes his mind.
Yeah.
And decides not to talk to her about it anymore.
That's right.
So then David instead decides to confront the reporter.
Maureen Kingsley.
Well done.
Tell me. Yeah, we obviously only heard her on the phone. What did you think she looked like?
Not that.
So, yeah. I thought she would have been old.
Yeah.
I had this like old like
and Maureen. It's an old.
Yeah, that's why I was like, who the fuck is this? More. I was like, oh, that's that reporter.
So we
Yeah,
find
yeah.
out that Maureen and David go way back.
Yeah.
And they sort of came up together
Yep.
and been through a lot together.
Yeah,
and
they trusted each other, really.
He sort of confronts her and uses their history to get her to tell David who the source is, because there's two sources that are corroborating this story.
Can I just say, she folded so quickly.
Yeah.
But then the other thing, the therapist that is one of the, what do you call it? Sources. Surely he wouldn't want to even give that up because of patient.
Well,
Doctor
he's gonna he'll lose his license.
Yeah, like why would you risk that just for this one person?
Well, he thinks justice needs to be done.
Yeah.
It was obviously his son's therapist was one of the sources, and then the other source is a hospital record.
Oh yes.
That they had. It's a bit convoluted, but essentially there was someone who also checked into hospital that night besides the rapist that was murdered.
Yeah.
And had similar injuries, which sort of alluded to a scuffle between the rapist and the person who, well, originally it was supposed to be that he jumped out of the window, but obviously there was some sort of scuffle that went on.
I think we find out, don't we? Is it in this episode? Like, the guy apparently, I'm probably just going to blow up, but pulled a knife out.
Oh.
So that's why he's claiming self-defense.
Oh, I must have missed that altogether.
Yeah, I think apparently the guy pulled a knife out and that's why he got thrown out. Like, they were having a scuffle.
I must be looking at my phone.
I think he was like, I wasn't going there to kill him, and then,
Right.
And then, because that's why in one of the parts, David says, like, well, if he just tells his story, if his story is right, then he won't go to jail.
Yeah, okay. I think he says that to his wife or his daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
But one of my, again, a classic 24 line, this time from David, was to the reporter when they were talking about whether she was going to run the story or not. And he says, do what you want to do, but be prepared to accept the consequences. I love it.
Oh, they have some good one-liners.
So from there, David talks to his son. And like they did not have a good relationship. In the first episode, like they made it seem like David and Keith had an awesome relationship and stuff. No, Keith is not happy with his dad.
Did you find the way Keith was sleeping weird?
I can't remember.
He was literally like just lying there with his hands out, and he just looked stiff and he looked like he's faking it.
Keith,
do you remember in the first?
He is faking it.
Do you remember in the first episode, he says, "No, I don't go to sleep if it's after 3." Like he's like, I can't fall asleep if it's after 3 a.m. or some shit. He says that in the first episode, I think.
You remember some funny things from these.
Yeah. Because I thought, well, he's fucking asleep.
No, Keith is a weak link in this show.
Yeah.
And I made a note about this. He has the roundest head.
He does.
Literally like a bowling ball.
Yeah. Looks nothing like his dad with the chiseled jaw and the good looks. He ain't no Denzel.
No. So yeah, obviously they don't have the best relationship as was made out in the first episode. Yeah. So I think David says to Keith, "What did you do?" And Keith says, "You don't have the right to ask me that."
Yeah, I thought that was so weird. I was like, "What are you on? Like, is there a cop interrogating you?" It's your dad, mate. He's got all the right to fucking ask you.
But essentially, through that conversation, we learned that no, the reporter's right. He definitely did kill the guy.
Yeah. Did you see how David Palmer got really angry? He was ready to like belt his son one.
Yeah.
But then he obviously held back. I wonder if Keith has the same temper as his old man.
Oh,
and that's what happened.
Apple not falling far from the tree.
Yeah. Because I mean, you could just see in David's face, he just realised, and he was just like, and he backs up. He does his walk away thing. Just walks off.
He loves to walk away.
Yeah, I mean that was the end of the David Palmer thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For that episode.
It's
not much happening.
And then we swap over to the Kim part of the story and her two mates, Rick and Dan.
Yeah, so I've put Rick, Dan, Kim and Gaines all together as one.
Oh, yeah?
Obviously they're all part of the same.
Yeah, Janet's no longer with them.
Yeah, no, she's in hospital. We'll get to her. But yeah, That's right. So they hand Kim over to Gaines, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. And then he asks them to go to another location or something. Because they go for a drive and they follow him.
Oh, that's
to
right.
wherever they're like, hiding out with armed guards and
middle
parklands
of trees and
I was like, is this 10 minutes away from CTU?
I was going to say again, like we're in very close proximity.
Yeah. The best bit about that storyline was when he confronted Dan, and he's like, "What really happened to Janet?" And he's like,
"That's right.
Well, Janet's dead." And they said, "Well, she's sort of dead." And then he goes, "You're either dead or you're not dead. There's no such thing as sort of dead." And then fucking bang, headshots him.
So he kills Dan. Dan is definitely dead. There's no ambiguity with this one.
No, we see the bullet shot in his head.
Yeah, and nice day for Rick though. Rick gets promoted.
Yeah. Doesn't he say that?
He does.
Oh, I guess you got a promotion.
Yeah.
Rick's probably like shitting himself.
And that's pretty much it for
we forgot about the bit when they're driving there. There was what's that song? That was a good song.
Oh no, that I was gonna do that at the end. My two little bits that I like the most. So New Noise by Refused. Perfect for that time. Yeah, because it would have been I think it would have been out around that time as well. That song.
Yeah, I don't actually know that song too well. I went and looked it up and I listened to it, but
my memory of that song is was it Enigma Bar that used to do like the?
Is that the one with the Predator in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hardcore.
On Hindley Street for all those who know Adelaide.
Yeah.
I think on a Friday or Saturday night they would do a punk and heavy music night.
That wasn't my scene back in the day.
No.
I'm all over the shop now. Like you and Andrew, our other mate, you two are loving your music. I just never got into it.
Never got into music.
Nah. So now I just listen to whatever goes. I find myself listening to a lot of like your style of music now too. Stella hates it.
It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good soundtrack pick. A little bit of royalties there for Refused.
Yeah. And yeah, Dan's stoned off his chops.
That's right.
He's just full. If
anyone should be driving, it should be Rick. Rick seems, although he's smoking a lot of joints, but he seems fairly with it.
Yeah.
So there, that's the end of the.
Yeah, that's all of them.
I feel like it was quite concise this episode in terms of the storylines. Didn't chop and change too much. Next episode's a whole nother story though. But, so that's Kim, Dan, and no longer Dan. Kim and Rick and Gaines. And really the last part of this episode is
Janet, Terry, and Alan.
That's right.
Yeah.
From the last episode, she got rushed to hospital. Janet got rushed to hospital, and
that's right.
Terry and
Alan
are following.
Sorry, it's every time we say the name Alan, in my head I just hear Steve.
So they get there and they're pretty distraught.
They barge their way in.
Oh, I think the nurse at the nurse's station wasn't overly attentive. They were clearly distraught.
How's the doctor they talk to?
Yeah, so I just started.
He's like, I started at 4. It's like the time's there, I think, and it's like, or we just saw the time. It was like 4:05 or something. Yeah. So this happens at the start of the show,
but it wasn't a very big part of the show. So this is why it's at the end, and eventually they just. No one's helping them out, so they just run on through.
Yeah, they just find out there's a Jane Doe.
They walk like 20 steps and they're in the OR area with no difficulty getting in there.
No one. She's like the nurse, like, yeah, you can't go in there. No one's chasing them. She's like, oh, well, just let them go.
And then I love that they just make it to the correct OR. Janet's in there getting prepped for surgery.
Yeah.
And they're just standing out front of the window. And every time we cut back to them, whenever Terry's talking to Jack,
they're just watching.
They just stand. No one has moved them out of the way. They're still just looking through the operating room window, watching the whole time.
You guys hang out here. That's cool.
Yeah. And even at the very end of the episode, we come back to them, and Janet has gone asystole. Her heart has stopped.
Yeah.
And again, crash cart comes in, they're working on her, trying to get her back, and Terry and Alan are just still watching.
Yeah, I read you can't do that to someone though when she's going into whatever they made it.
Yeah, apparently it's not my area of expertise.
Apparently it's a thing I read with like TV shows they yell out whatever she's doing. It was on the, I think I looked at IMBD. It was like someone commented.
Right.
And was like, yeah, this isn't correct.
Yep.
You can't put the paddles on someone when they're going into this. You have to like give them CPR and stuff first before.
Get some sort of rhythm.
Yeah. Anyway, fun. Not a fun fact because it's not very fun.
I got one other thing that I enjoyed in this episode, and that was at the campaign headquarters, there was the sound of the dial-up internet getting started up.
Oh, really?
I
I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's not forget about the amount of phone calls between Jack and Terry, by the way.
I think it's just a given for this whole thing. They're just going to constantly be in contact.
I got one bit where Jack calls Terry looking for Kim. Oh, no. Terry's looking for Kim or something, and then he yells out, "You just need to trust me." And then, yeah. Oh, and Jack also lets Terry know that Pentecost might know something and he desperately wants to talk to Janet.
That's right.
Like, he's constantly like, "Is Janet out yet?" And it's like, mate, she's just been hit by a fucking car. She's got her arm broken. She's up on heroin. Like, she's a bit all over the shop. It's only been 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, poor Janet's gone through a fair bit.
So, I like the episode. It was nice and concise.
I enjoyed this episode.
A little bit easier to follow.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 6. So, this one's between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m.
On the day of the presidential primary. So, yeah, we start this episode back with Janet. So, I think we'll go through Janet, Terry, and Alan.
Yep.
Because there's
a little bit of crossover with Jack as well on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we might get a bit lost, but we'll try and push through. So, yeah, we've got, Janet's crashing on the table. They're trying to get her back. And at the same time this is happening, like, Alan's not really like distraught, by the way. And Terry's a bit like, "Oh no," but then Jack calls her and she's like, "Oh, hey Jack." Yeah. And then Jack calls Terry and informs her to not let anyone near Janet. So, because he knows that
someone's
Pentecost.
after them.
Yeah, no, Jack. Oh no, is this the episode that Jack gets the fucking earpiece?
No,
it's
the.
Yeah, no, it must be the next one.
Yeah,
see, I gotta be careful because I'm fucking. It's all like mushing into one. But yeah, anyway, he doesn't want anyone to be near Janet. So and then Jack arrives. So a lot happens throughout the episode, but because we're following Terry and Alan, that Jack's now arrived at the hospital.
Yeah,
via private helicopter. But we'll get to that.
And can I just say, as one thing that I picked up on, as he's in the helicopter or getting in, there's Star Wars music playing.
Really?
I really want to clip it because I played it back like 3 times. I'm like, that is Star Wars music.
You probably if you Google it, they'll probably be like, yeah, we stole it from Star Wars.
Yeah. Anyway,
sorry, George
fact.
Lucas. Yeah, so Jack turns up, starts questioning Alan straight away, just like full blown, like questioning him.
Yeah, he's not a fan of Alan.
Nah. Oh, I wouldn't be too.
You've said it from episode 1 or 2. You know,
since we met him, I'm like, this guy's just fucking dodgy.
Yeah.
And Jack and Terry walk off at one point. So
that's right.
Yeah, so Alan, I don't know, they just must leave Alan. But this is where he pulls Terry aside and tells her that the David Palmer scenario, and that's what he's actually doing. So he's probably broken like 17,000 laws here by telling his wife what's going on.
Yeah.
And she seems more distraught about that, I reckon. Oh, no, because that's why...
Because he sort of says it's my fault that...
Yeah,
that Kim's
and then...
been taken.
This is why Kim might be taken. Like, because she's like, how is Kim involved in that then?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why she gets destroyed. No, that makes sense. I would be too. So, yeah, Jack tells Terry about it. Then Nina rings Jack to say the body has a pin in it. This is probably more your expertise.
Oh, yes.
This is one of the ones I was like, Brenton to be all over this.
Yeah, it has it's like something in the ankle, I think. An ankle plate or something like that.
Yeah, he's got an ankle pin or a plate or something.
Yeah.
And so obviously they clipped this bloke's fingers.
Forgot about the ankle.
Bundled up his face and I was like, this is a bit of your expertise, isn't it?
I mean, I would, orthopedics, not really, but I would suggest back then they weren't using custom plates that you could trace back. Surely not for an ankle. Anyway, we'll go with it.
So, I mean, that helps. So you just know, because you just know we're going to find out. So, yeah. And then this is where I started getting, like, to do with the Allen. And I was like, nah. I was like, it's working out too well here. I was like, you can just see. It's one of those ones where you could just see what's about to happen. That's right. So the pin, and then so Janet gets out of surgery, and Alan wants to go in before Jack.
Yeah,
because he was like, Jack was like, I really need to talk to her, because Jack just really fucking wants to talk to her. And then, he was like, oh, maybe I'll go in first and talk to her,
see if she's up for it,
and then. What's Jack's doing something at this point? Because is this where he
then gets a phone call?
That's right. That's when, So that's when in the Jack one we'll go through where Gaines rings him.
Mm.
Yeah. So he's walked off, and then so Alan's gone in to see Janet, and Janet's all like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
Oh, where's my dad?
Well, first she's sort of coming to, and it sort of shows it from her point of view, like it's a bit blurry. She's like, "Dad."
Yeah.
And then she's like, hold on, who are you? And then it clicks, the needle drops.
Yeah. And then he just like pinches the oxygen.
Oh, and man. I have a lot of problems with this bit.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, so he's suffocating her with like, pushing the mask on her face and like... Yeah. Then the machine's like... And he just pushes a button to make it mute. But I'm like, surely there's nurses' stations over there.
So a few things wrong with this. Just cutting off the oxygen supply to that mask. That mask is like supplementary oxygen. You're still breathing from all the air around you. The mask isn't like fitted to your face.
He even went to trouble of pinching it?
Yeah, he pinches it. So it's like, she's no longer getting 100% oxygen. She's just getting atmospheric oxygen. Anyway, and then to suffocate her, he pushes the mask to her face more. But those things...
There's holes in them.
They're not made for a tight seal.
Yeah.
So there's another type of mask that...
Because like a vapor,
anesthetics would use, which is a tight seal.
Yeah.
But that's for like proper...
Yeah, like
bagging
a full
someone.
Machine. Yeah.
But this thing is like literally just to help. She's not relying on it. She's not intubated.
Yeah.
It's just an assistance for her. So anyway, that's...
yeah, and then I'm thinking in my head... Because like... when my son was born, we spent a fair bit of time in hospital. So you could hear all these fucking noises. And you could just, like, the nurses' stations.
Yeah,
like,
they're connected.
Yeah, so they're like, Janet's is crashing. Says she's flatlined. Nah, she's all right.
He's just silenced the alarm the room.
It was like one of the slowest kills, though. Her eyes are, like, rolling in the back of her head. I was like, God, this is going on for a bit.
Because it was going on for so long, and the way that he was trying to kill her, I was like, nah, she's not going to die.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought, no, she'll survive this. And I was like, oh, no, it seems like she has.
He's fucking knocked off the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, she ends up dead. So, we're no more Janet now. And now we're like...
Jack is going to be... He just wanted to talk to her.
Have a chat. Where's Kim? But, yeah, so now that's where we sort of find out before... So, that we find out that, as a viewer, we find out that Alan is not Alan.
That's right.
Before the body actually gets ID'd, which ends up being...
Correct.
The real Alan York.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Terry doesn't know yet.
No.
And then he comes out and he's like, he says something like...
She's fine.
Yeah, no, she's doing well, and like she gave me an address. Like she told me an address in like some house.
Right. Yeah.
And then he's like, so we'll go there. Cause
I'll take... No, that's right, because he says, where's Jack?
Yeah, and Terry's like, I don't know.
Yeah, Jack's
he had a phone call.
So he's like, I can take you. And so she... she said, "Oh no, you got to stay with Janet." And he's like, "Nah, she's fine.
She's fine. She's having a sleep."
So Terry agrees.
I would have thought that's weird. I'll be like, "You just found your daughter. She got out of like a surgery where she was like flatlining."
Yeah,
and you're like, "Yeah, no, I'll just leave it. She's all right. She's all right. She's having a nap."
So they he convinces her to go with him.
Yeah,
and off they start driving.
And yeah, so Alan gives Terry the fake address. They go off for a drive, and that's right. Nina's trying to get in contact with Jack and then so she calls Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, Terry, I know Jack's with you. Like, and then she's like, no, I haven't seen him. Like, I don't know where he is. And then all this, and then she like Well, when you see him, could you just let him know that the ID'd body was Alan York? So Nina
breaking many
know.
protocols.
Yeah, so Nina doesn't actually know that she's with
correct.
Alan York. She's just got a name. She has no idea who the Alan York is. And then you see Terry's like face. She's like, oh my god.
Yeah, while she's in the car.
Yeah. So and that again, like how far they feel like they're in the hills now.
Yeah.
But I haven't driven far though. So
now I think is does that happen in that episode?
That's the end of the episode.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's the end of their storyline for the episode.
Yeah, so their storyline starts with them and the whole episode finishes with them in the car. And she's just been told.
She just found out.
That's not Alan York. I wonder if that's like a mid-season break thing. I wonder if that's
it could have been. Yeah, that could be the end of the year episode.
Yeah. Imagine back then, you'd be like, fuck, what's going to happen?
Gotta wait ages.
Yeah. Not like these days. You're like, I'll just binge watch it all.
So whose storyline are we going to next?
I've got one thing for Gaines. Who does Gaines actually keep talking to? Because he's on the phone.
Oh,
somebody else is higher up than Gaines.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I'm like, because obviously I think
it's got to be someone within CTU.
Yeah, we find that out next episode with someone, don't we?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I suppose we could do. Well, what do you want to do? We could do Rick and Kim, or we got Jack.
Let's do Rick and Kim and finish on Jack.
Actually, yeah, Rick and Kim, and we've also got David Palmer.
Yeah.
So Rick and Kim's pretty simple. Dan's been told to bury his mate.
Yeah.
Because he's just been popped in the head. And
he's been promoted.
Yeah. And then, so this is the weird part. So, I don't know, there must be in some, like, compound. There's armed guards walking around.
Mm.
And then, not Terry, Kim, she just walks around. She's not even tied up, nothing. No. Just walking around like, oh, you can hang with Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick, sorry. And Dan, because Dan's lying on the floor. And yeah, so Kim starts to, try and convince Rick, like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Rick seems to think that Gaines is just going to let him go, and Kim's like, you're an idiot. He's not going to let you go.
That is the most stupid thing I've ever, how could you think that in your head? Like, he's just killed my mate. Nah, he'll let me go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll
just get my money.
By the way, yeah, the money. Yeah. How much they did this for? 10 grand each. So it was 20 grand. Meanwhile, he's paid Mandy $1 million to blow up a plane, though. But it's like, you couldn't have asked for a bit more, like 50,000. It's like, I am kidnapping someone.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Rick and Kim have a few D&Ms over this, and then Kim's getting a bit like,
she's changed.
Yeah, she's like,
now that Dan's out of the picture.
Yeah, Dan was really just bad influence on Rick, I reckon.
Yeah, I think she sees.
She's starting to like him.
She sees the good side of Rick.
Yeah, but surely you'd still be pissed. Like, you just fucking kidnapped me.
Yeah, it's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome going on, I think.
Yeah. Gaines comes and gets Kim, by the way, and says to Rick, I always get them mixed up. I think in the first episode I actually got them mixed up the whole way through. And says, you better have him buried by the time I get back.
That's right.
And then so Kim started helping him, by the way, before this.
Yeah, grabs the shovel.
Yeah. He's like, if you're going to have a shovel, you're going to use it. If not, put it down or something like that. Drop the shovel unless you're going to use it.
Oh, yeah, I think he says, like, unless you're going to use it on me or something like that.
Yeah. And then there's not much else happens with them. So Kim gets back. So Kim gets brought back after being with Gaines, where she spoke to her dad.
Yes.
So this is the episode where he gets the earpiece.
The earpiece, or is it just when he gets the phone call? I think it's just when he gets the phone call at first.
Well, anyway, I reckon we'll do Jack last because he had a bit of a... I think he had a fair bit in this episode.
Yeah, it was a big episode for him.
We could probably do David Palmer because that was the end of... That was the end of the what's it called?
Rick and Kim.
That's the one. Yeah, David Palmer. David calls this Carl guy. So that... You remember Carl from... What was it? It was like last episode or... No, sorry, 2 episodes earlier. Meets him in the car park where he caught that bat like an absolute champ. And he calls him to confront about the Keith cover-up.
Yep.
Because he finds out that he would have been, I think he was to do with that cover up. So he
did he just discover, think about that on his own?
I think so.
I think he sort of assumes that Keith would have gone to Carl to help him with this. So he assumes that Carl knew all about it.
Yeah. And Carl tells him everything.
Straight up.
Yeah. And then I've got here, like, Keith went to Carl. So he's like, yeah, your son came to me and claimed self-defense. Like, and I think that's where he said to him that it was the knife came out and stuff. Right.
Yeah, I missed that bit.
Yeah.
But the bit I didn't miss is that essentially David Palmer says to Carl, look, we're done. And I can't remember how Carl does it, but he drops that David's wife was in on it as well.
Don't use all the nails on me. Save some for your wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
Before you finish crucifying me or something like that.
Yeah. So then David's like, what do you mean? She had nothing. She knew nothing about it. And then, we'll get to that bit. Oh, so, that's next. He then confronts Sherry about Keith, and he's not happy.
Yeah.
And then...
She does deny it at first. She tries to stick with her story.
Yeah, and then she's like, I tried to kept it from you to help you, like, to save you from it. Like,
and to save your career.
Yeah. And then I think he dropped something like, did you do it for me or did you do it for yourself? Like, do you just want
to the White House?
Yeah, do you just want to get in the White House? I'm like, yeah, she so does. Isn't that what they're all there for? Probably hates David Palmer. She's like, I can't wait to divorce him. I just want to get to the White House first, though.
Classic Melania vibes.
Yeah. Oh, then David finds out Nicole knows about it too.
Yeah.
So his whole family knows this cover up except for him.
It's cool. Like thinking about it because he's such a big, strong character.
Yeah.
Like he's the only one that didn't know.
Yeah.
I think he feels. I think that's one of the reasons why he's so angry about it is because he's the only one that didn't know.
Yeah. So then we got Dave rings up Mike, his chief of staff.
Yep.
And then he's asleep, and he's like, "What did he say?" Oh, he was like, sorry to bother you," and he's like, "I'm your chief of staff. Like, it's my job."
Yeah.
And all this. And he's like, "Oh, well, this is a personal issue." And then he
You're
said,
about to run for president.
"Yeah, you're running for president. Nothing's private anymore."
Yeah.
And Mike tells him it's going to make the campaign hard, but it can still be won if
it's done in the right way.
Yeah. So he says you're going to have to do it at the breakfast.
Yeah.
Like straight away.
You've got to be the one to break the story before the reporter.
Before Maureen. Yeah. And he's like, and you have to have all your family behind you, like right there and next to you as you do it. And that's pretty much the end of the old David Palmer for that episode.
And now we get into the meat of it.
The old Jack Bauer. So we've already found the body, and this is where Jack drops off the body to Nina.
Yeah.
So he meets him at CTU
to get it forensically tested to see.
Yeah, they bring in someone. They're like, we've brought in so and so, some like expert.
Yeah.
To ID this guy because he's so mangled.
They're going to take some DNA.
Yeah, and then Jack's called in a helicopter because he on the way he's called Terry. He's like, I'll be 20 minutes. He's like, I'm 10 minutes away from CTU when he's in the car when he talks to Nina, and then he straight away calls Terry and he's like, I'm 20 minutes away. So obviously they're not far. Like the helicopter's probably like, are you serious? We're flying 2 blocks over, and it's like, yep. And then
they just wanted to get a helicopter.
Yeah, and then the helicopter. Tony rocks out of nowhere. He just appears on it. He's like, "What's going on?" Jack summoned this helicopter like 15 minutes ago.
Yep.
And then, just before that, Jack's like, "Nina, I need you to do me a favor. Don't tell anyone I've used it for personal use."
He didn't even need to say it. Like, all of this is connected at this point. Like,
yeah. But like, I feel like he doesn't have to explain it to her.
No.
He's like, well, he's called in a fucking hell. He's got somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man's got a job to do.
You just told on yourself.
Yeah. That's right. So Jack's waiting for Nina to call him back to ID the body.
Yeah.
And
meanwhile, he has a little bit of time, which we talked about before at the hospital.
Yep.
With Terry.
Yeah, that's where he tells Terry about David Palmer and everything.
Yeah, and we could probably get to the point where the point at which they lose Jack because he gets a phone call.
Yeah.
And he walks away, and who's on the phone?
It's old Gainsey.
It's Gaines, and
I think his name's Ira.
Yeah. I haven't heard his first name.
Ira Gaines or something. How's so that phone call right there? Smile at your wife.
Yeah.
And then she gives this like stupid smile back. She's like, And then he's like, now, yeah, walk away. It's the slowest walk away ever, like
It looks
backwards
so
and
dodgy.
just constantly looking at it. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, seriously? Like, this is going on for like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Well, this is worse than David Palmer's slow door shut.
And Gaines has eyes everywhere. So he's got all the security camera footage.
Can I just ask? Because he gets him to go out of the building into a car. That's where he puts the earbud in his.
Oh, it's then.
So that's where he gets the earbud, and he's like, "Drop your phone out the car, Jack."
Yeah.
And then that's where he's like, "Fuck
Yeah, because it's in the car park.
How the fuck the two dudes with the handicap? How the fuck is he getting live footage from that?
Yeah.
Like you just say, it's like this bulky thing. Like, is there a fucking satellite attached to the car or something?
Yeah.
But these dudes just follow him like the whole time.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, that's where he talks to Kim. So
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to know that she's alive.
yeah, and this is another classic Jack moment. He goes, "If you hurt my daughter, I'll kill you." And then Gaines tells him, "We're going to go to CTU." No, he goes, what does he say? He says something like,
You work there.
We're gonna go. He was like, "What, CTU?" He's like, "Yes, Jack, where you work," or something like that. So yeah, and then that's pretty much the end of. I've got a bit of CTU. There's not much CTU action.
Yep.
So that was the end of Jack's. Pretty much the end of all our main characters, but it's hard to do this like just the one storyline because CTU is like a thing of its own. But we've got Nina brings in an outsider to crack this key card. Yeah, Milo, who's like full on computer nerd.
Yeah.
You just tell he's eating pistachios or something the whole time. Do you know what it reminds me of? Remember James Bond GoldenEye with the nerd with the pen? That's what that reminded me of. For some reason. Yeah.
Very obscure.
Yeah, and Jamie's pissed, by the way.
Oh, because
she's not happy.
She's the computer person.
Yeah, so why'd you bring him in? I could have done it.
Yeah. And Nina tells it to her face, no, you couldn't have. It's not what you're good at.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, some Tony funnies. Does Tony ever do any work? Because I've got here, like, if you notice in this episode, he's holding a folder the whole time and he's literally just staring at everyone. Like, he must know everything that's going on there because he does no work.
He's one of those people that doesn't actually know what his role is.
Yeah,
Like, he just sort of walks around with a folder to look busy.
Oh, we find out in the next episode, he's like, I'm next in line. Like, I'm in command when Jack
That's
and
right.
Nina aren't there.
Yeah. Third in charge.
Yeah. Calm down, mate. You're third in charge. Just to keep looking at your folder.
The only other thing I've got for that episode is we're now getting light outside. Sun is coming up.
Yes. So
we're out of the darkness.
Well, we've hit 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 6
at the end
a.m.
of this episode. Yeah. So we're definitely going to be into daylight by the end of the next... Well, I think at the start of the episode, it's pretty much sun's starting to come up.
Not a bad episode. Out of the three that we watched, this was probably the lower point. I think a lot of David Palmer stuff.
Yeah. It was a lot of
doing nothing in the hospital, and
there was no action.
Yeah.
The only action was old mate got shot. No, did he get shot?
Yeah. Dan.
Yeah, he got shot in this episode. Yeah, we just went through it. But that's what I mean. It's all fucking goes into one episode. So, yeah.
Episode 7. Between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Sun is definitely
primary.
coming up. Now, we will go into the split between the characters again, but I just want to mention, like, the first scene in this episode is fake Martin.
Oh, yeah. He's getting ready
from
his
earlier.
break. Yeah.
He's getting up, he's getting ready, he's putting his makeup on and everything. And I checked the timestamp, 2 minutes worth of just Martin getting dressed for the day.
Yeah, we put in a couple of contacts and...
that made me uncomfortable.
It was close up, wasn't it?
That was like proper footage of someone putting contacts. And just the way that they were sort of wrinkled at first before they set in.
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone put contacts in close up. It was weird.
That was definitely a live take, that one.
Yeah.
Yep, good. Jack's episode seems quite long. My note taking, by the way, is... I just can't condense it. I try. I look at your notes, I was like, wait, what?
But the problem with mine is that they're too short, so I forget what the context around them are.
Yeah. So Jack's episodes are quite long, and we've got, We can go whoever.
Let's go with Rick and
Rick and Kimmy.
Rick and Kim.
Yeah. So I got to Kim's still trying to convince Rick again.
Yeah.
So constantly just trying to convince, we need to get the fuck out of here. And then I think Rick is still in his head, no, he's gonna let me go.
Yeah.
I think he says something like I'll tell him I'm done, I've buried him, I've got nothing else to do here. I'll fuck off. And he goes to Gaines I should probably go and get out of everyone's way.
Yeah.
And Gaines what makes you think you're in someone's way? And then he's like, I've got more jobs for you.
Yeah.
And then he just proceeds to go,
shuts it down.
Okay. And then he walks off. Would you not go, oh, okay, what would you like me to do, mate?
Yeah. He just walks away without actually knowing the jobs. And then the camera goes back to Gaines. He's just got this smirk on his face.
Yeah, I think I got it. I got, Gaines has a look on his face Rick is a fucking idiot. Won't be ever leaving alive. And then with a little chuckle.
Yeah.
So he comes back to Kim. And then
I think at that point he knows that he's not getting out of there.
So this is where he starts to draw his little diagram on the floor. But just before that, I'm pretty sure Kim's well, we need to get out of. He's yeah, you're right. He's not going to let me go. We need to get out of here. And she's like, how are we going to do that? And he's like, I don't know. And then he picks up the chalk and starts drawing. He's like, so this guard here is very I've noticed this is a very low spot of guard activity. We could probably get out here. And then that's when another guard comes busting through the door.
Yeah.
Do you recognise that
he looked
actor?
familiar.
Yeah.
What's he from?
Prison Break.
Oh.
Did you watch that?
That could be the next one because again,
Yeah,
that is
I love
exactly the same
Prison
as this. Where I've only seen a few episodes here and there. Another one that my wife has watched religiously.
Yeah. See, I rewatched it a few years ago now.
Did it hold up?
Yeah. I loved it.
Okay.
It was really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was he one of the main characters?
I think he was in it for a little while. Yeah, he was just one of the prisoners. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had the same vibe.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So he comes busting in.
Can't really have another vibe with the face like that. Let's be honest.
So Kim takes control here. She grabs Rick and pretends that Rick is attacking her.
Yeah, just trying to get in her pants.
Yeah. And so
there's a little moment there, isn't there? What did we say it was? What's this? Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. She's got a bit of that going on. She feels like she's starting to be oh, I really like you, Rick.
I think she feels like she's back at the furniture store again.
Yeah. Instead, Janet was getting ploughed there. Yeah. So I've got That's right. He's like, give me a few minutes. No, he's like, give me 5 minutes. He's like, I'll give you 4. It's like, whoa, man, settle down. And then he's like, yeah, I'll leave the lock unlocked. And we watch him put the padlock in, but don't lock it.
Yeah.
And then what are they doing? They're walking to do what he's like. If Gaines finds out that he would have had you, this is that other character, this other guard.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh,
actually,
yeah,
wouldn't mind me some of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. What did he say? I wouldn't mind me a piece of that cake or something.
Something like that.
And then Dan just convinces him straight up, just oh, we've got a truck to unload.
No, he's like, well, you just lectured me about getting
about
caught.
Gaines. Yeah.
We better go unload that truck.
And then as he's walking off, he's mumbling, oh, that damn truck or something. And then the way that Rick gets away from the guard, he's pats himself. He's like, oh, my keys. I was like, really?
Forgot to do the phone wallet keys.
Yeah. Testicles, spectacles, wallet, and watch. Got to do it every time you get up. So yeah, he manages because Kim's got out of the room.
Yeah.
And she's hiding in a bush because he's like, I'll meet you here. And so now he's back at the bush.
So I think we'll probably have to leave it there and then we'll join that up.
You reckon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right at the end. Yeah. So we could go. Do you want to do the Terry thing or nah? We'll see what Jack's up to.
Yeah.
Do the screen grab.
Let's do Jack.
Yeah. So we've got Jack. Oh, Jack's been. So Jack gets to CTU after the last episode.
Yep.
And in the glove box or something, Gaines is like, there's a present for you or whatever. And he's like, key card? And he's like, yeah, you got to swap the key card out. Because in the meantime, Milo's trying to crack this key card.
They're getting close.
And he's close. So they've got something, didn't they?
Yeah, they got a snippet.
Yeah, and he's like, I've got like 10 minutes.
Now, they got a snippet of the plastic surgery operations. So they know that...
Yeah.
And straight away, was it Nina or was it... what's the IT woman's name?
Jamie.
Was it Jamie that said, they must be trying to make someone look like someone else?
No, I think Milo said that.
Oh, did he? I reckon I've written it down.
But in the meantime, Jack's entered the building, and Nina's all like, "Where the fuck have you been? Like, what's going on?" And you can just tell Jack, like, surely everyone would notice Jack's being fucking weird.
Yeah,
because he like gets all angry and shit. Did you notice he touches his ear the whole time? He's like, every time he talks to Gaines, it's like, I'd be like, why do you keep touching your ear?
Yeah, and it's small, but it would be noticeable.
Yeah, it's like one of those little button earbud things. It's not like you got an AirPod hanging out his ear.
So just quickly, it was Nina that guessed that the shooter was trying to assume someone's identity to get close to David.
Yeah, yeah. So Jack goes up to his office, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And he's alone. And then this is where we sort of find out, like, fucking hell, James has got access to everything.
There's a bug in his room watching him.
Was that a bug? I don't think it was a bug.
There's a video camera.
Yeah, but I think it's just standard surveillance camera. Like, as in...
Oh, it looked small.
That's what I thought. But then later on, because Tony pulls up footage, remember? I reckon it's...
No, I think... Oh... Do you think it's just the normal security footage? Because obviously all these rooms have footage.
Can you pull up footage of Jack's office?
Yeah.
But then, actually, I don't think the video ends up being the same because it's from the outside of the building.
And I think you get a little picture of what the camera looks like.
Because he's like... So Jack starts writing a note on a piece of paper, which he's going to try and... obviously trying to give to Nina when she comes up.
Yeah.
And Gaines is instantly like...
Stop writing
that note now.
Shred it.
And he's like, what? Are you serious? And then they show him seeing the camera, which is, it looks like one of those little camera with a red light. Just like on like a logo or something that's on his wall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, shred it now. Because Nina's walking up the stairs. That's where Nina's like, what's going on, Jack? Like, it's fucking weird. But also proceeds to tell him, like, Milo's close.
Yeah.
Like, and then Jack's like, tell him to stop until I get down there. And she's like, you want him to stop? And he's like, yes, that's what I said. And that's where Jack's like, fucking swap this key card. So he's told Milo to stop. And then, so Milo eats the pistachios or whatever the fuck he's eating through this whole episode and the last episode. And Jack does the classic, oh no.
Knocks the pistachios over.
Yeah. And then this is what I don't get. Because you remember back in the day, if you got a CD or some shit in your computer and you rip it out mid doing something, it's going to crash.
Everything goes wrong.
Even if you fucking you were listening to fucking one music track and you put a different CD in, it's gonna start playing that music.
Yeah.
And the thing's going to crash. He just rips out this card and puts it in. But
that's what I think when Milo first tries to re-engage it and it's not working right, and then oh god, I keep forgetting her name. Jamie, yeah, says, have you tried connecting these things? And I feel like it like disengaged it, and then he had to do that thing to make him start working again.
Yeah.
But so he swaps out the card.
Do you know what brought a flashback memory of that? So you know when he swaps the card and he like fucking rams the tray shut again? I just remember doing that all the time because I'm like, who the fuck pushed the button and waited for it to go really slow? I was like, fuck, jammed it in there every time on my computer.
I pushed the button.
Yeah, nah. That's probably why my computer was stuffed.
But some of them you had to, especially like laptop ones. You would push the thing and it would just pop a little bit, but then you had to shove it back in.
Yeah, see, I didn't have a laptop back in the day. I wasn't that good.
Neither did I. This was much later on.
Desktop, baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jack goes back up to his office after he's done that little switcheroo.
Yeah.
Gaines tells him, so what is he? He's got to make a phone call to David Palmer's like...
Yeah, he's got to get on the books for the breakfast meeting.
Yeah. And then he drops his code or whatever. He's like, Jack Q fucking 1744. And then the dude's like, sorry, we've closed it. You can't get in. He's like, no, I need to get on. He's like, okay, yeah, so you'll be reporting to
No, he says,
Aaron.
I need to check with my supervisor, or I need to run it up or something. He's like, and you're in. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I was like. Well, fuck, that was quick. And he's got to report to Aaron. So that's the head of Secret Service. So he's in it a lot.
That guy.
Yeah. And then he's also got to call Division to be like, yo, I'm going to be out for an hour. I'm not going to be in contact.
Yeah.
Because obviously they don't want him calling anyone. And then I think, does Nina come up again? I think Nina comes upstairs again. She's like, what the fuck, Jack? Like, what are you doing? Like, you just told Milo to stop and then all this, and I don't know. But then this is where Jack sort of, like, it gets out of control because Nina's getting way too sus. And then what does he do? Does he just basically take her hostage straight away?
I can't remember why. Gain saying something on the phone.
Oh, so Nina can... That's right, because Milo was like, this is not the same key card.
That's right.
And then he's like, who could have... And it's like, well,
yeah, they figured out that it must have been Jack.
So that's why she came back up to confront Jack about the key card. Jack takes...
Where's the key card, Jack? Yeah.
Yeah, where is it? And then he's like, oh, fuck, here it is. And she's like, what's going on, Jack? And then he basically just takes her hostage.
Yeah.
Puts her in a jacket. Like, we'll find out later about that jacket, but I'm like, what the fuck are you wearing a jacket? Shoves his hand up the back with his gun out and then walks her downstairs. All I could think of, by the way, when he's walking downstairs, I was like, I wonder if anyone's wiped the blood off the balustrade. from the other episode. Yeah, from like the, I think, second episode.
2 episodes ago, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I wonder if the cleaner's been in.
No, they had the lockdown.
And this is another
It hasn't been long enough. It's only been a couple of hours.
True, yeah. This is filmed in real time. Then Tony pops his head up again.
Yeah.
Like, sees them coming downstairs. Jack's got a handgun up the back of her jacket. How does no one...
Even if, like, obviously no one sees the gun, but why is his hand at the back of her jacket?
Yeah. Oh, are you two seeing each other again? Tony's pissed because Jack's touching her. But, like, the other thing, the jacket, like... So I was like, why... At the time, I was like, why the fuck is he putting a jacket on? And, like, she looks sus. Oh, we're just going to go out. We've got a thing with Division, a meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, surely if you were like, they're going, why is she wearing that fucking jacket? Like,
especially because they know what the jacket is later, and they say it, but they didn't notice that when they were walking out.
Yeah. And the other funny thing was when Tony comes strolling over with his folder, and he's like, oh, where are you guys going? Jack's got his handgun. He's like putting his handgun away. And I'm like, does anybody see a fucking 9mm handgun in Jack's hand?
No one sees the earpiece. No one sees the gun. I'd love to know what is in that folder. Like pictures of cats.
And then, so anyway, Jack and Nina leave, and they're in the car that Gaines gave him.
Yeah.
Surely Nina would be like, I mean, Nina's already been taken off. She knows something's going wrong.
Yeah.
She'll be like, where the fuck is this car, Jack? And she's driving.
But also, he's not saying anything. Like,
no.
He still is not letting... Well, like, he's not saying to her...
He still looks guilty as fuck.
I think Gaines is still telling him not to say anything.
Yeah. And then they're sort of Nina's questioning Jack in the car.
Yeah.
And then she almost fucking crashes the car. I thought they were in the middle of nowhere already.
Yeah.
So when you're like looking, they're like driving. I felt like they were already in the middle of nowhere. She's like, well, Jack's like, whoa, watch out. And the brake, and I'm like, it's a fucking red light, and there's like all these cars around because it's daylight now.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to 7 o'clock.
It's still early morning, so there's not a whole lot of traffic out, but it's getting busier.
People getting ready to vote.
You know, the interesting thing that you hear is Gaines say to Jack, be more careful, I need you alive.
Oh, I didn't...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's like, be careful, Jack. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, obviously, I mean, he's obviously wants to use him at the breakfast because Martin's going to be there. So he's probably going to team up with Martin and be like, you need to get him into here.
Yep.
Or get David Palmer or something alone with fucking... Yeah. Anyway, well, I guess we'll find that out. Yeah, so Nina almost crashes the car. And next thing, they're in an industrial area.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell, another 10-minute trip from CTU. You can either go up the hills into industrial area. There's a hospital there. There's fucking Gaines is just around the corner as well. Anyway, so it's like...
It's like Adelaide. Everything's less than half an hour away.
Yeah, so they're... It's like... It almost looks like an oil Those big
I know what you
pumping
mean.
things.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, what even are they? Like in the middle of the city? Anyway, so they're there.
Gaines tells Jack that he needs to kill Nina.
Yeah, that's right. So Jack, he's like, you need to get rid of her. And then, like, they get out of the car and whatnot. And she's like, they're on the edge of a little cliff thing.
Yeah.
And then fucking Jack just pumps some rounds into her. Not just like one or two. Like, you'd think, like, fucking just pump one.
But at the same time, he takes this opportunity to be able to actually tell her why he's doing it. That they've got his daughter and he's sorry and whatnot. And then he shoots her like 3 or 4 times and she goes
Point
rolling
blank.
down the hill.
Yeah. And then, like, later on, obviously, we find out that she's wearing a vesty. Like, it must be high tech.
They
CTU.
said a flat jacket.
Yeah, but that...
Which is that the same as a bulletproof vest?
Yeah, that's what...
Right, but just in jacket form.
Yeah, it must be. So it's like high tech CTU shit.
Yeah.
But from what I understand about getting hit by a bullet, by the way, you'd have broken ribs. You'd be like, you're almost dead. But
the idea is to try and stop it from
Yeah,
piercing your skin, but that impact is still going to do some damage.
Yeah. I've got here at the end. So this is the end of the episode where we see Nina.
Yep.
So she, she does the whole like, oh, and wakes up. We're like, oh, it's a bulletproof vest. Fuck yeah. Then she gets up, puts her shoe on. She's like, she looks like a crack whore, or like she's just come off an episode of Walking with the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Of the way she's walking, I was like, oh, I mean, she's got that down pat. So, remember I said she wore her own clothes for the show? So I reckon this is almost like, we need to some way change her clothes. I reckon she's going to change her clothes. Surely.
We will see.
She's going to make her way back to CTU somehow.
All right, that's the Jack and Nina done. What do you reckon, Terry?
Oh, Tezza. And Alan, but not Alan, because we already know. And so does Terry at this point. Yep. And the way... Oh, hello, hang on. Bit of ASMR coming up for all our at home. Into the mic.
Sorry. Oh, no.
I want to listen to it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Performance anxiety.
I hate that.
Oh, no. I've rotated it.
How do you manage that? How many beers do you have before this?
3.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, could have been closer.
Yeah. Fuck, you smashed that beer.
I don't know, man. I think we've been recording for a good 40-something minutes.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
We're going quick.
The format's a winner.
Yeah, it seems a bit easier. Like, I mean, we've got the iPad out and stuff. Like, I need to look at notes because it's 3 episodes. Fuck.
Yeah,
not that good.
So Terry,
yeah. So we're in the car with Terry and Alan, not Alan.
Fake Alan.
Yeah, Steve.
Well, I think we do hear his name at some point.
Oh, do we?
I think I might have written it down.
Yeah, right. I never did. Mind you, this is I binge watched all the 3 episodes last night. So by the time I was taking these notes, it was 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, yeah, that's good. That's good. So my notes are a bit. How you going? But anyway, Terry fakes feeling sick.
Yeah,
the older. Oh, I'm getting a bit cut because they're in the hills.
Yeah,
they're going through the windies in the BMW, and you'd really want to pump those windies.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she's like, pull over, I'm feeling sick. She leaves it. Does she leave her phone in the car? She's like, pretends to go and be sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
but in the meantime, Gaines is trying to ring fake Alan. To let him know that Terry now knows.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he heard while. That's right. Because back in the
car.
Jack side.
Yeah.
Not in the car. It was
just before
in his office.
Her. Oh, in the office.
Yeah. Because she's like, oh, we got the ID back on that body.
That's right.
And it shocks Jack because he's like,
he says, did Terry tell you about who the
and she's like,
the body was?
And it's like, his name's Alan York. And he's like, what? And then that's right, he talks again. He's like, if you hurt my wife, I'll kill you or something.
Because in the previous episode he says,
if you
hurt my daughter, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And then he says the same thing, but this time he says, if you hurt my daughter or my wife, I'll kill you.
Yeah. So he's going to fucking kill someone soon.
Yeah.
Alan's got the message. So his phone works. So this gets me. So they've stopped the car, right? And then his phone worked. And then he's got the message like, fuck, she knows. So he goes to chase after her. In the meantime, Terry's fucking found a boulder and just absolutely whacked out fake Alan with it. and knocked him out. Would you not keep going?
I know.
That shit me.
Why just
like, I would have either gone...
self-defense, you're fine.
Oh, especially if Jack's going to come as well eventually.
Yeah.
Like, your husband works for CTU. He'd be like, fuck off, guys. She's not going anywhere. She's not getting done for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have fucking smashed his brains in.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to find anything out from him.
I reckon I wrote that down as well.
Yeah. It really shit me.
And then she's tying him up with, I think, a belt for his hand.
Do you know what I thought it was? It was a fucking hose?
No. So I
think it was jumper cables.
So yeah, jumper cables were the longer ones. But even the belt, that belt was far too long.
Yeah, that tree was huge. Yeah. And then I just thought about the way he was like there. He's like...
he didn't look very secure.
And I was like... Is he just going to be like, yeah, I'm out? So anyway, she's like, fuck, you know, I need to get hold of someone. Like, she tried her phone, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Even though Alan's phone worked right where he's sitting.
So that was I wonder whether that was a bit of product placement. Alan had the Nokia.
Yeah.
That one worked.
I forgot about product placements in shows.
Terry's poor Ericsson, no good.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of Macs.
Yes.
Apple Macs.
Yeah. I think I read... What was that first Mac you said? Was it Cube or something?
No, I thought it was I did say the word, the name of it, the other one.
Yeah, but I read somewhere that there's a placement of one of those in there, but I would
There was a power book, so I think that's what they used to be called, like the first Mac laptops.
Yeah, right.
I think Sherry.
Yeah.
She was on one of those. I was like, oh,
Because, Apple would have been coming in pretty strong soon, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2001.
And they
so
were all
building
about
up.
product placement.
Yeah.
And
apparently, I think there was like a Mac desktop or something in CTU. But
was there?
I think this was like an IMDb thing.
Yeah, right. Because there was one in Kim's room in that first... Was it?
Yeah.
Did I say, was it a G1 or something like that? Or
Yeah,
G
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway... Terry is trying to...
Trying to call someone.
Yeah, she obviously can't... She tries to call Jack, and some random doctor picks up his phone, like, oh, no, I found it in the hospital. And she's like, fuck, hung up from that.
Yeah.
Then calls CTU. Do you hear the way she's answered the... Like, so Jamie answered the phone, and she's like, yeah, CTU. And she's like, who is this? I was just like, fuck yeah, no, Terry. Like, is there no caller ID on these things?
No,
like,
I thought the same thing, like, because it's always these
even
random
Nina
numbers.
does it when Jack calls her mobile.
Yeah.
Like, surely...
Well, because even Jack in the hospital, when Gaines called him, was like, oh yeah, I'm waiting for a call from Nina.
Yeah.
And he looks at the phone and he's like, oh, it's probably Nina.
Surely
and
you
it's
fucking
like,
remember
no,
the
it's
number
Gaines.
or something that
Yeah,
popped
yeah.
up. But then again, so they're product placing these, like the Nokia fucking 3215 or whatever the fuck it is. Pretty sure we got caller ID on those.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we always did, because you'd be like, oh,
yeah.
My future wife's calling me. Or texting me. But yeah, so she finally gets onto Jamie, and she's like, Jamie, I need help. I'm like, I'm here at this address, blah, blah, blah. And Jamie's like, yeah, I'll get someone there straight away from CTU to come pick you up.
Yep.
Anyway, this is... So not much time goes by the way. And then two cars rock up. And then they're like, yo, we're from CTU. And it's like, she's like, wow, you got here quick.
And they straight away, they don't look right.
Well, straight away they go to fake Alan and they just start untying him. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't untie him. And then
Bag over
that's
the
when
head.
we find out, like, oh, she's being captured.
Yeah.
So then they take her to where Kim's being held.
And that's where their stories converge.
Yeah, so that's where we pick up Kim. So Kim's just about to escape. You know,
hiding in the bush, her and Rick.
Yeah, Rick's lifted the fence, dug a little
They're
hole.
digging a hole. They've still got that shovel.
Yeah, fucking shovel. Just fucking use the shovel. And then is Kim like just about underneath the fence? And then she hears her mum
screaming.
Yeah, where's my daughter? Yeah, she's like, my God, that's my mum.
And Rick's still like, no, we got to go.
Yeah, like, can we fucking go? Like, I want to get out of here. And then he's like, you blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where those two...
so they go back into the cabin. I thought that was a bit...
Do they?
Yeah. They
Actually, they would have to because Kim would be like, fuck, lock me back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surely, I thought about that. Would you have left? I would have been like, would it been
been better to get away? And I think, isn't that what Rick suggests? Is that like if we leave, we can get someone to come and help your mum?
Yeah, that's what I would have. But then at the same time, I thought like, if you're really in that situation and you saw your mum,
and then I guess the risk is if she does get away, do they take it out on the mum or something like that?
Yeah, but then let's say they still need one hostage at least.
True.
Even if they then killed the mum, it's like, well, we don't have anyone now.
Yeah.
And Jack will be like, fuck you, I'm not listening to you. Did we do David Palmer?
No.
No, we didn't.
Not much happens with David Palmer.
Yeah, no, David Palmer's pretty... He basically just goes around trying to he's telling his family, like, I'm going to stay at the birthday.
Yeah, he's trying to get them on.
Happy birthday, Keith. My son Keith killed someone.
No, he's trying to get them on board to come to the breakfast and back him up when he tells the world.
Did you see he catches up with Keith while he's running?
Yeah.
And like literally like an hour ago he was asleep and he'd only just gone to bed.
It just it deepened my hatred for Keith.
The funny part was I thought about that was you know how they got the Secret Service?
Yeah.
There's that one bloke that's got to run with him.
him.
And I'd just be like, are you serious, mate? Do you really want to go for a run? And they'd be like, yep, there we go.
No, at the end after him and his dad have it out again and then Keith runs off. He runs off so funny. Because he tries to like overact that he's like really upset. It just doesn't work.
And I did write Keith isn't on board and David's disappointed. David talks to Nicole. And I swear she gave a smart ass comment in that. Like, yeah, whatever, Dad. Like, yeah, I'll do it. Or some shit like that.
Yeah, she doesn't want to have to rehash everything.
Or like anything for you, Dad. But it was like a smart ass comment.
Yep.
But then, so he spoke like basically this is it. And then speaks to Sherry. And then Sherry's like, you can't. And I think she even drops like, if you do this, like there'll be worse consequences or something than...
you won't just lose the election?
Yeah, you won't just lose the election. You'll lose, like, basically saying, like, we'll get a divorce.
Yeah. And
then, but she brings up there's always a way to keep her quiet, like, basically in blackmails, like, we should blackmail Maureen. And, yeah, David wasn't having a bar of that.
No.
He was like, no.
It's not in his nature.
Yeah. She really just wants to be First Lady, to be honest.
I reckon... Is that it?
The
only thing I've got is the fact that Tony, after already seeing Nina leave in that jacket, he's reviewing the security footage, sees that that Jack has taken Nina hostage by gunpoint, but also is confused as to why he's put the flak jacket on her. I'm like, you saw it
so I've got
in
here.
Person.
I've got a little bit of CTU. I've got Tony, and he said. Because he's like, I want footage of Jack's off. Because he's like, I think he said he tried to pull it up, but he can't. So he's telling Jamie to pull it up.
Yeah.
He's like, I need footage. And then she says something like, oh, you can't do that, or you can't tell me to do that. And then he's like, well, Jack and Nina aren't here, so I'm in command.
He just wants to be the boss real bad.
And then he looks over the footage and he's like, sees Jack pull the gun on Nina, and he's like, Jack, you son of a bitch. And then it goes a bit more, and he's like, why is he putting a flak jacket on her?
Yeah.
And then that's when it cuts to like Nina getting back up again after she got shot.
She's alive.
Yeah. Did we drop the bombshell in this? We didn't drop the bombshell. So we find out
miss?
fucking Jamie?
Oh, that's the... wow. I'm not convinced.
Nah. Did you not see it?
Yeah, I saw it. She, like, once... like as Tony was coming over to have that conversation with her, she was crossing out the address that Terry had given her.
That's when Tony comes over to her, and she quickly scrunches it up and like throws it on the ground. So, she's fucking them all.
Yeah, you reckon she's the one?
Yeah, I reckon she
could be.
I mean, there could be more than one. Who knows? But I reckon she's definitely part of it.
But that's who Walsh trusted.
Yeah,
Jamie and Jack.
How do you? I don't understand. I don't know how Jack's going to get away from having the earpiece and being taken. He's like basically been taken hostage.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to get out of that.
Well, we'll have to wait to... Hey, lucky we've changed our setup.
There's me bashing the tables.
We'll have to wait until next episode. Yeah, good episode.
Yeah, that one was a good one.
Yeah.
Especially like the little, the few little twists and there, like with the Jamie and the bulletproof vest and Jax.
I knew she couldn't have been dead. I thought he was like gonna shoot like past her. So it looked
did he push her off?
Yeah, he sort of was shooting and like pushed her down the...
That was point blank. There's no way that would have held
Well,
up.
that's why I thought like if like the gun was sort of inside the jacket and he was shooting like past her in the jacket, that would sort of make sense. But
just at that point, I was like, I fucking cannot remember this. I was like, is she only in it for this long? And I was like, I could not remember.
Oh, you were trying to think.
Yeah, I was trying to think like, how long has she been in it for? But yeah, so not a bad episode. I enjoyed that one. I think out of the three, I liked that one the most, I think, because a bit more action happened.
Yeah.
And then probably the first one we watched, then the middle one.
Yeah, I agree. You were saying that you don't have full rankings, like these versus the other ones that we've watched.
I'm no good at that. I've been focused too much on taking notes.
Oh no, I did have rankings.
Yeah, I saw them. You did. I couldn't find it. This notes thing, by the way, because we share.
Oh, here we
on the
go.
cloud.
Here we go.
Oh, you got them, yeah.
So, I think we've established so far. I think we've agreed at this point so far on. I think they're objectively like easy to determine so far. So
yeah.
So far we've gone 4, then 2, then 5, then 3, then 1.
It's so weird that number 1's just the shittest.
Yeah,
episode
the pilot.
You'd think that'd be like you need the grab.
But you know what?
I mean, our first episode's shit.
Going back now, if it hey, what are you saying? If it was a double header release, which it looks like it was, I think they released 2 episodes on the first. And then maybe 2. Was it 2 and 2?
It was 4. Yeah, I think
4
it was 4
in the first week.
Yeah.
So I reckon they probably looked at the pilot and went, it's a good concept, but it's not a great first episode. We've got to release
I
a
suppose
couple
it's hard
together
because it's done by the hour. So you've only got an hour worth of stuff you could do.
Yeah.
You can't be like, this happened, bomb.
So I reckon that's absolutely why they released the first few together, because the first one probably didn't hook everyone enough.
Yeah.
And then by the second one, you're like, oh, actually, yeah, I can see this is paying off.
Are you struggling to not watch more?
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm so like, I really want to watch.
I can't though, because I struggle to even just remember what happened in each episode with 3. If I watched any more than that,
like, I mean, I could watch it and probably wouldn't remember too much.
Yeah.
But I'd remember the main details of like, if someone fucking you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Didn't know that person was going to be like that, or that would stick, and then it would just probably ruin it for the podcast, to be honest. So, but I'm trying so hard not to want to watch more.
Yeah.
I just really want to binge it.
That's right.
Knowing that there's 192 episodes. Do you reckon we're going to go the whole way?
I'm happy to.
Yeah. I mean, we'll at least get this season done. You never know. We might have another podcast on the side for another lot.
Far out. It's too much time.
Yeah.
Any other tidbits from the one thing that you sort of touched on it before about the music, but they just do the suspenseful stuff really well.
Yeah. So
like the build up to something is quite good.
Yeah. And they haven't used any music except for that one song so far, have they? Oh, and you reckon Star Wars?
Oh, like any other like known music?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they have.
I reckon the Dan and Rick scenes early on with the van, they had some other stuff. I didn't recognise it though.
Yeah. Could have been custom. Just made for the show.
Yeah. The way that they do the music, suspenseful music, and then just the way that they pull you in when something's about to get revealed is really good as well. Like the whole Terry finding out about Alan was good.
Yeah. What do you reckon of the acting?
Yeah, it's not bad, but there's certainly like Keith is not my favourite.
Old round head Keith.
Bowling ball Keith.
Yeah, fuck,
No, it certainly has its, and even Jack's a funny character. Like, I think I was saying to you before, he's emotionally abusive. Like, he will build up really strong and then be like, oh, sorry, and be like super soft, and then like really quick to like raise again.
Yeah.
And like, he's really the dominant character. Like the way that he tries to dominate Alan.
Yeah.
It's like Alan's daughter's, well, we know it's fake Alan now, but when we thought it was Alan and his daughter's laying in hospital and he's just like, I need to talk to your daughter.
Yeah, he was
ruthless.
Yeah. And like when he told him they have to stay at he's like, no, you stay at the furniture shop.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
He takes control.
Yeah, he's dominant. That's why Terry likes him. I reckon, well, that's pretty much it for
episode, what was it?
7?
Yeah, 7. So 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I still get confused. I'm like, what am I up to? And I have to, you know how it says like watched?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to make sure I don't go into the next one because I'm about, fuck, did I watch that or not?
Yeah. Because you're doing it, you're watching them twice, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm doing like, so we record the potty on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? It's the best way to do it, end of week. And then I usually wait till about Tuesday. So Monday's usually a bit shit because, it's first day back at work.
Mm.
And then usually I'm playing a bit of COD or something. While my wife watches TV next to me, the old COD mobile, on a Monday night. And then Tuesday, I'll try and watch all 3 episodes. So
in the one sitting.
Yeah, but just a watch.
Yeah.
No note-taking or nothing. And then Wednesday's normally like, just do whatever. My mum comes around for dinner. We see the boys and me and my wife. And then Thursday is like, I'm like, bang, I got to watch them all again, and I got to take notes. So it's quite intense actually.
It's a good process. I'm watching one episode on Wednesday. I want to do it like later in the week.
Yeah.
So I don't forget them. I still do. Doesn't help. So 1 episode on Wednesday, 2 episodes on Thursday.
I reckon you need to get on the Tuesday, Thursday bandwagon.
Yeah. Yeah, because Wednesdays as well, it's my longer day. Early work. Yeah. And then kids in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because the wife's still working late on a Wednesday.
Yeah, not ideal. What? Speaking of wives, what's your wife think about the podcast?
She thinks it's a midlife crisis.
Yeah, our wives are definitely talking.
Yeah.
Mine's just like, you serious right now? I was like, well, something to do.
3 episodes deep, and I think there's a lot of surprise that it's still going.
Yeah. I mean, well, we haven't released them, have we?
No.
So we're going to do a 24. We can't just release one episode at once, can we?
No.
We need to let the people
the first
binge.
one, yeah.
We need to show that it hopefully gets better.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll even get funnier one day. Who knows?
Yeah, unlikely.
I don't know. It could be pretty fucking funny.
All right. That's the end of this week, I think. Good beers, pretty good episodes.
Yeah, I was happy with that beer. That was nice. Went down well. Just finished it.
I'm
you said you were thirsty.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of like see you laters written down, but they're on my phone, which is actually being used. So I forgot to write them down on the iPad. One was something like, if you've made it this far, like drop us a like and a review or something. But if you liked it, but if you didn't, then sucked in because you're still here. So who's the loser? I thought that was a funny one.
All right. On that note, see you next week.
Catch ya.